Okay, so we had opening day today, November 19th, Saturday, November 19th. Cold, snowy day. It was about 19, 20 degrees all day, and we had blizzard-like conditions for probably, I would say, an hour, maybe 2 hours tops, throughout the day, off and on. It was crazy. You could hardly see, and then other times you see blue sky, so it was weird weather. The wind was whipping a little too, but in short, we had a very successful day. Specifically, my brother-in-law, Chris, had a very successful day. Chris, what'd you get?
Well,
What'd you win?
what did I win? Early this morning, had a little doe walk by the blind I was in, and I was just kind of going, I was swinging for the fences. I'm like, I don't really care what I get. So I took a shot at this one, took her down at about 60 yards through some brush, and then a bunch of crows found her and kind of alerted me to where she was in the brush. So got her, stayed in, went back to the blind and just kind of hung out, drank some coffee, and just relaxed and kind of waited just to see what would happen. And I got a glimpse of a big old boy buck and a younger buck trailing him. No shot at all. So I put out some contact grunts with my grunt tube, my extinguisher grunt tube. And like 5 minutes later, the big guy came back. And so I took a shot, and to be fair, I had kind of a bad shot placement, and I got him in the guts. But then he came down within 65 yards, clear shot, and I hit him in the lungs, and he dropped about 30 yards after he dropped 30 yards away from where I hit him the second time. And so we're gonna weigh this guy in. Right now he's hanging down to the floor and weighing in at about 158 pounds, resting on the floor with his antlers. So we're gonna tie him up and get
Show it on the floor there.
We're gonna see what his true field dressed weight is.
Yeah, so after just kind of tying him up so that he was free and not touching the ground, we have 172
Field dressed.
172 pounds field dressed. So, quite a big guy. It's hard to show the proportion of it, but it feels like a small horse when you're next to it. Definitely bigger than a Great Dane, no question.
6 feet 3 inches for perspective.
You're 6'3", okay. Yeah, that's a big deer.
Okay, so here's some pictures that my TrailCam caught of this deer. A couple of these pictures are back in October, late October. But here he is marking his territory, and he's interested in our mock scrape. Here's a still close-up that I got of him from another video on the TrailCam. I think it was from this video here. But he had a lot of interest in this mock scrape, as you can see. And then here's some videos of us just getting ready, getting our hunting clothes all ready. I think it was the night before here. Just making sure that everything was going to fit. Luke has grown like a weed this year, so we had to make sure he was properly outfitted, which meant I had to buy some new clothes, and he got the hand-me-downs. Here's a picture of Chris. About the time he may have shot that first doe, he kind of came out just to check things out. My TrailCam picked it up, and of course this is what we call the campsite area, which is on the lower part of our property that overlooks that little creek. So while Chris was down at the campsite, Luke and I were up at the deer stand up on the upper part of our property. Chris called us down for some reinforcement just to help with field dressing the deer and just helping take some photos of him and that type of thing. So here you can see the first shot, or the first photo of Chris. Here's Luke next to the deer. We kind of set the thing up, posing. is a huge deer. Here's the buck all by himself. Here's a shot of the buck after he'd been field dressed, and we just had harvested the heart, an enormous heart. It was the size of a grown man's fist. It was huge. One of the things we did was we looked up on Google, what the typical weight is of a field dressed deer, and they said for a deer this size that it was typically about 50 pounds. So that would make the deer about 220 pounds when he was living. So once again, just a very large animal. Yep, and then here's just a final shot of the deer hanging, and this is right about the point when we were going to start skinning the deer, removing the hide in such a way that the taxidermist could use the cape. So we were preparing to do that. But I just wanted to congratulate Chris on a very successful hunt, getting one of the biggest bucks known to date at Stonehill Cabin. Congrats, Chris.
Thank you.